Planning and Zoning meeting for 3:30, the City Council chambers. We have one item up for presentation. That's for the Jones Valley, case number ZAC 2021-000005. So, Mr. Gambrell, how you doing?
Very well. How are you today?
Good.
Okay. Yeah, this is ZAC 2021-5, Jones Valley. It's an application for a change of zone district boundary from D3 to A1, filed by Willie Case, representing the owner, Sammy L. Thompson, Jr., for property located at 2821 Balsam Avenue Southwest. Proposed use, outdoor farming for chicken coop, barn, kennel, fishing pond, community garden. The subject property sits on approximately 4 acres of land currently zoned D3. Abutting the subject property to the north is also D3. To the east is zone CI2 for a heavy manufacturing district. To the south and west of the property is also zoned D3. The applicant's proposing outdoor farming accessory to an existing family home. The private farm will have a chicken coop, community garden where fruits, vegetables will be grown, and a kennel. There's also an existing pond on the property where catfish will be kept. This land comes equipped with a barn, creek runs through the rear of the property already on the land. Long-range land use plan identifies the property as residential low, therefore the proposed rezoning request is not consistent. The applicant's site plan shows an existing pond barn on the property. The development, of course, is going to have to meet the landscaping requirements, and then there are several conditions that are listed here in association with chicken coop and livestock barn and some setback issues that are required. The property is in a 100-year floodplain, and all related activities must meet all floodplain requirements. The city's natural hazards administrator reviewed the applicant's proposal and his request, and if the request is approved, recommends the following. Those are highlighted there. You can see those. The neighborhood did see this case on April 2nd, 2021. That's the Jones Valley Neighborhood Association. They reviewed the proposed project, decided they needed more time. The neighborhood's next meeting was scheduled for May 7, 2021. And I guess they scheduled a meeting on April 14th at noon to survey the property, ask questions. The neighborhood came back on May 7, 2021 and voted to not support the request, and the vote was 0 to approve and 5 to deny. The Framework Implementation Committee, President of the Redevelopment Subcommittee of Southwest Birmingham Framework Plan Implementation Committee, Willie Thomas, informed staff the zoning decision should come from the Jones Valley Neighborhood Association. However, he'd like to hear more about the final decision. ZAC heard the case on June 1, 2021 and voted to not recommend approval. Staff's recommendation, his application request is not consistent with the future land use plan, is not recommended for approval.
Okay.
And
all right.
That concludes the report.
Okay. All righty. One other thing, I did get a text, and I know we'll make sure we put the agenda on our, I don't know if Cody's listening back there. We'll make sure we get the agenda. Somebody just texted and asked what was on the agenda, so we'll make sure we post that. So we have the report. Mr. Casey, you're here to give us a brief overview. We don't have a quorum, so no, that's, I mean, but still, if you can make a brief overview, and then at that point, we will see what options we have. So, just want a brief overview, Mr. Casey.
First, I want to thank you all for even considering the meet, because Mr. Thompson, he's been going through this for some time. I'm a real estate broker with Casey Bishop and Burroughs Realty. I'm W.A. Casey. I live at 941 5th Street West. But Mr. Thompson bought this property some time ago. How long have you bought this property, Mr. Thompson? Excuse me? How long have you owned this property? How long have you owned it? Huh? About 25 years. He bought the property. It was a mini farm then. He had cows out there. He has a barn, as you can see in the picture. He has a stream, freshwater stream. Since that time, he built a half-acre lake on the property that's 15 feet in deep, and it's full of catfish, bass, and brim. And he has in the back of the farm, he has done some farming, planted corn and stuff. But the problem with this property here is that it needs some need to spend about $200,000 on this property to bring it back up to snuff. The house is in pretty good shape, but the barn is dilapidated and it needs a lot of improvements. If the committee does not approve this here, it's going to be a blight on the neighborhood, because no one going to spend $200,000 back there if it's not zoned, at least agriculture. In my opinion, it should have been grandfather clause in a long time ago. Now, I have some knowledge of this here. I said on ZA, I was on the planning commission, zoning commission. I think I was a chairman before I left that committee, so I understand how it works. And what happened on this deal here, I was kind of shocked that they turned us down, but even the neighborhood came out. There was I think it was 5 ladies came out and looked at the property and walked the property with us, and we thought we had a favorable opinion on them. But when they called a vote on the meeting, another gentleman did not come down there with us. Matter of fact, most of them didn't know where the property was located, because we described to them where the property was located. It's up against some tanks down on dead in the street. But he made a statement that he thought it shouldn't be agriculture going to pull the property value down, which is not. It's going to maintain the property value. It may probably bring it up. Also, he complained that if they had chickens back there and a horse back there and animals, they're going to be stinking up the neighborhood. The closest school, Jones Valley School, must be about 4 blocks, at the minimum 4 or 5 blocks from this property. So it would not affect the school. It's been a farm all this time. And I have a neighbor here who's been living there a long time. And I have a petition also signed by the neighbor. We walked the neighborhood, I have a petition where the neighborhood signed saying they had no problem with it being zone agriculture. And for those who just don't know, I've been sitting on the Industrial Development Board for the last 35 years, and we create jobs. And so I have a lot of knowledge on property value. And I challenge them that this is the best thing having this property now, is you all approve this property with Agriculture One. And let me find, I got 2 investors that already is on the sideline. They have not signed a contract yet because they're not zoning. But they have indicated that if we get zoning, they'll entertain putting an offer on this property. So I would strongly encourage you. I don't know what you can do with not a quorum, but I would strongly encourage you all to vote yes on this here and on spot zoning.
Okay.
And if you want to hear from Mr.
No, you've already presented your case, unless you're going to add anything different to. Okay. Mr. Casey just has included everything you needed. That said everything you needed.
You want to say anything?
If you add anything, okay.
And
all right.
This neighbor has been living on the property all the time. He gonna say that he had no problem with it, and it didn't coexist with it.
If you want to come in and state your name and address, and just to give us a brief overview, that's fine. If you want to state your name and your address and
yeah, my name is Will Rogers Jr. and I have on property about a block. I guess you say about a block from his house, and never had any problem with, when they did have agriculture down there. I never heard of anybody saying anything about it or causing problems, or you never seen any animals running around, or it was kept up like it should. I felt like it should in the neighborhood. So as far as I was concerned, I've been living on the property I'm on for 25 years, since 1996. So, and I remember when, he first worked on the property and put the little lake down, pond, whatever down there, and never had any problems. So I would, recommend to you all that it wouldn't do nothing but just bring property values up, not bring it down. It wouldn't cause any problems. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Yes, Mr. Gambrell, I think we don't have a quorum. Is it to, recommend it? With no recommendation, and let the full council, I don't have a quorum on that, and I'm sure you will prepare to what would be the next what's the process, just so that they would know it, if you wanted to state that.
Right, yeah, so we would, on next Wednesday, we would submit an item to set a public hearing on the following Tuesday, whatever, is that November 2nd? Yeah, I think November 2nd, we would set a public hearing for, I guess, the 23rd.
That's during Thanksgiving. Is that going to be a problem for you all to have? It's
Or we
on
could,
the-
I mean, we can set it whenever. Yeah, we could do the 30th, just whatever.
Well, is the 23rd, which is, I think, is it the week of? It's right, it's during the holiday. Just want to make sure if he would set up, the Planning and Zoning Committee, Planning and Zoning would set a public hearing for it to be November 23rd before the full body of the council at 9:30 on Tuesday, November 23rd. Is that date good with you all?
That's the Tuesday of Thanksgiving.
I'm just saying, it was just the holiday. I just wanted to make sure, since it's the holiday, just to make sure you're. Yeah, no, November 23rd. Like I said, it's the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, but, okay, just wanted to make sure. I don't know if you might have already had holiday plans. Okay, I guess that one would work.
Okay,
You would just prepare it. Okay.
yeah, we can do that.
So what you'll see is on November 2nd, there'll be an item setting a public hearing for November 23rd at 9:30 on Tuesday, 9:30 before the full council. And then the full council would hear the case and then determine where to go from there. Okay? Since we don't have a quorum here to either recommend or not recommend it, we'll just forward it on with no recommendation, but the process would continue on. Okay, and so you'll see it on the 2nd, you'll see an item setting a public hearing. I don't think it really needs to be there. That's just setting the public hearing, but November 23rd is when you would need to be able to be here to present, that's when the case will be presented to the full council. Is that?
And we'll notify you, Mr. Casey.
Okay.
Let you know for sure when that is.
Okay, so I just want to kind of walk y'all through what the next steps are with that. Okay, all right. So with that, since we don't have, I think at that time's case, you might want to bring your petition or any other information. You want to make it available to everyone when you make when the case is heard before the full council on November 23rd. Okay, all right. Anyway, with that, that's how we'll deal with that. Since I don't have a we don't have a quorum, we'll just simply, it'll be forwarded on to the full council with no recommendation. Okay? All right. And with that, that was the only item. We don't have a quorum, so to approve the minutes from September 15th, 2021. And I think that was the only item. So old and new business, don't think we have some. So anyway, we'll move to adjourn. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.